Okay. So thank you for agreeing to meet with me today.
Of course.
This interview is for my Social Work 376 class, and I just need your permission to have this shown in front of the class if you want.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you again at the end, so if anything changes, just let me know. We'll do that then. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
It's been a busy day, a little stressed out about homework and papers and everything, but I'm trudging through it.
That's good, I can understand.
Yes, absolutely.
So one of the first questions I wanted to ask you is, what is important in your life and who do you care about?
Okay. I'd have to say my boyfriend and my family are probably the most important people in my life right now. My boyfriend has been my best friend since like 4th grade, so he's extremely important to me. And my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my half-brothers, I'm just really close with them too. I can't wait for Thanksgiving when I can see everybody.
And what do you guys do for Thanksgiving?
Well, because my parents are divorced, I go to like 4 different places. So we start out at my mom's and then have like a lunch. Then I go to my grandparents on my mom's side, have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I go to my dad's parents, so my grandparents on my dad's side,
Wow.
and have like a second dinner there. And then I go back to my dad's house and celebrate with just my dad and my half-brothers and my stepmom. So it's a busy holiday.
Yeah. And how many years have you been doing that for? Like all the different?
About 15.
Wow.
So yeah.
Are you used to it? Would you say used to it? Or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas, Easter, they're all the same. So.
And you go to all those 4 places on every holiday. Wow.
Sometimes I even go to my stepdad's parents too. So yeah, mix it up a little bit.
Great.
Yeah.
And tell me more about your family, like your mom, your dad, your brothers and your stepbrothers. You mentioned that. Tell me
Yeah.
about
Well, I'm extremely close with my mom. I've lived with my mom my whole life. And my stepdad has actually become more of a dad to me than my actual dad. My stepdad's amazing. He's always there for me. If anything happens with my car, he's there on the dot. Like, he's the person I call.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, I also have a good relationship with him, but we're more like friends. We're more buddy-buddy than actual parent-daughter relationship. He's a magician, so he does his own thing with the shows and stuff, and I go help him out. And that's always been our bonding thing growing up. And then my half-brothers, I love them. They're twins, they're 13 now, and they're absolutely crazy, but they're at that age now where they're maturing, and it's just good to see that growth and see them actually take school seriously or start talking about girls, or I can have a serious conversation with them now, which is really cool.
Yeah. And do they live with your mom or your dad?
They live with my dad, yeah. They're on my dad's side with my stepmom.
And where's your dad live?
We're actually in the same town. They're just on the other side of town.
Okay.
So, yeah, same school system. They're having the same teachers that I had in school. It's neat.
That's great.
Yeah.
And tell me more about your boyfriend. You said you guys met in 4th grade?
Yeah, 4th grade. He moved from Arizona, and I had a crush on him immediately. But then we just became just friends until, like, sophomore year of high school. And then we decided that we wanted to test out a relationship, and it's lasted almost 5 years now.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm really happy with him. He's awesome.
And does he go to school here, or?
Yep, he's a commuter here. He's going for bioeducation, and because he's a commuter and he's going for bioeducation, it's tough handling all that. The education major here is crazy. I mean, it's such a commitment. So, yeah, I give him major kudos for doing that.
Wow.
And holding a part-time job on the side.
Wow,
too.
that's great. Do you work?
I have a couple jobs on campus. So, yeah, I'm on the newspaper. I'm managing editor and business ad manager for the paper. And then I'm associate editor for Folio Literary Magazine. And then on top of that, I'm also a tour guide on campus.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You do a lot, huh?
Yeah, I like to stay busy.
Would you say those are some of the pressures that you're dealing with right now?
Yeah, I was actually talking with my roommate earlier today. Like, school has always been a priority for me throughout all of it, no matter how many extra pressures I take on or extra responsibilities I have. But I definitely can say this year I kind of overdid it with the stuff I took on. So next year I'm going to make sure I don't make that mistake again. Of course, I always say the next year I'm just not going to stress myself out as much, but I always end up overdoing it somehow.
Yeah. How would you say you cope with those pressures?
I'm a huge list maker. So right now my desk is all lists, not only like jobs that I have to do, but also homework. And then checking in with family members. I haven't called my grandmother in a couple weeks, so I got to do that. You know, just prioritizing everything. That really helps me visually see it, and checking it off is like a huge relief for me too. So I'm definitely a list maker.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah. And then I also make sure I have time, I don't know, just to myself. Like today I spent 2 hours. I started reading Game of Thrones, and then I'm also reading a Stephen King novel, so I switch on and off between that. I give myself a couple hours of TV during the week too, you know, I gotta treat myself, so.
It seems like you like reading.
Absolutely.
So what's your thing with that? Is that your part of your major, or just something you do for fun?
Yeah, well, as an English major, I do a lot of reading for those classes, so I don't really get to do my pleasure reading that often. That's why I've been trying to kind of work it into my schedule, just to try to get those books out of the way, because I keep going to the bookstore and buying books and saying I want to read this, but then never actually reading it, because there's always homework to do. So I'm trying to read those books more. Right now I'm reading Stephen King's Dr. Sleep, which is actually the sequel to The Shining, and I love it. It's so good. I'm halfway through it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary. I saw the movie and I was like completely petrified.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I actually, this past summer, I went to an interview with Stephen King at Oakdale. I was one of the people on the top balcony, but the whole time I was holding my breath listening to him. And he talked about that movie, and surprisingly enough, he's actually very disappointed with how Kubrick did it. He didn't like the people he chose to act. He didn't like the characters' development throughout the movie too. I don't know. And I always thought that was one of the best Stephen King movies of all time.
I know. I love Jack Nicholson in that.
Yeah. But it was a surprise for me to hear that from him.
Is there any other people that, maybe like famous people that you've interviewed before, or people that you look up to?
Well, people I've like met. My boyfriend's a super nerd, so we did New York Comic Con this past fall.
Yeah.
I saw William Shatner. I didn't actually meet him. I met the guy who played C-3PO. Also saw Chloe Moretz Race who played Carrie in this past remake. Who else? The two people in the X-Files, Scully and Mulder. Yeah. So, he met them. I just stood by and watched. I'm not a huge X-Files fan, but that was pretty cool. I've also met Alice Cooper. Who else? I've also met a lot of people who actually played Jason in the Friday the 13th movies, like Kane Hodder.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really random, but
that's great.
Yeah, it's fun to, I don't know, get out and meet those types of people, talk with them.
So, what would you say are some of the goals that you have in your life?
One goal I've always had, even as like a little kid, was I always wanted to write. I always wanted to be a writer. So right now, I would say my main goal is being a novelist. And the only way I can do that is to keep writing and keep drafting and just submitting my work. And I'm slowly working towards it. For every like 20 submissions I send out, I usually get like 18 rejection notices and about 4 no-shows, and I have received 2 acceptances.
That's great.
You know what? It keeps me positive, keeps me pushing forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's one of my main goals right now.
Anything else for the future? You know, like where do you see yourself maybe in like 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, well, in 5 years, I'd like to have my own place, that's for sure. I'd like to have a steady job, probably working for like a PR firm or something along those lines. I love public relations and communicating with people. And then I'd like to be writing on the side as well. I also eventually want to own a farm with like donkeys and goats and stuff, so eventually, but...
What inspired you to want to own a farm?
I just love animals.
Yeah?
So, yeah. And my boyfriend works at a farm, so I'll just come along with him, and I'll do it under the guise that I'm going to help him, like, clean everything up, and then I spend the whole time playing with the donkey or the baby goats.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want one of my own.
Do you have any animals right now? Like, I know not at Southern, but...
Yeah, I have 2 dogs at home. I also have a parrot that I don't really like. It's more my parents' parrot. And then I have pet Newt, too. So, yeah, his name's Ozzy, a little salamander guy. He's my bud.
That's cool. How long did it last for? How long did it live for?
Apparently they're supposed to live for like 5 to 8 years. I've had him for 5 now, so he's doing well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And do you plan on staying in Connecticut, or do you want to move, or?
I've been toying with the idea of moving because it's just so expensive living in Connecticut. Of course, all my family's centered here, my grandparents, my parents, my cousins. I really don't have any out-of-state relatives except for up in Maine. And if I was to move anywhere, it would be south, not north, because I want warm weather, not more snow. So yeah, I've been toying about, I don't know, moving to like Jersey or Pennsylvania, somewhere around there. Not too far away, but far enough to have a new, fresh start.
Yeah, that's great. I'm thinking about doing that too. So
Yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah. It's a big decision, but I mean, I have to face it one day or another, you
Yeah.
know?
And how does your boyfriend feel about that?
Oh, he's all for it.
Yeah?
He's all for it. I mean, of course he feels pressure to stay here because of his family. He has an even closer relationship with his family than I do, but because he's commuting and he's there all the time. But yeah, we've been talking about it, and Pennsylvania or Jersey sound like good areas right now.
Wow.
Eventually.
Well, is there anything else that you want to share about yourself?
I can talk about some of the clubs I'm in. If you
Sure,
want
that's exciting, yeah.
Okay, sure. I was a part of Bookmarks English Club, but that kind of dissipated. I'm a part of the Society of Professional Journalists. It's a organization on campus that is dedicated to just promoting journalism and good journalism and what makes good journalism in the media. So we had an event a couple weeks ago that was called Journalism on the Fringe, and we interviewed a group from OLAS, the Latin American Society on campus, and we just interviewed them about how they saw the media and how they saw their culture represented in the media and how we could better understand them as a culture. And that was really interesting. That was one of the events we held through SPJ. For Folio, we also have monthly readings. Folio is a literary magazine, so we have monthly readings every Friday, the first Friday of every month. And those are always a blast. This year we started inviting artists as well. So we have like paintings one time, we have sculptures. This upcoming event on December 7th, I believe we're going to have photography by Malcolm Smiley. So
Wow.
yeah, it should be fun. And then on top of that, we have a featured poet reader and a featured fiction reader.
Wow.
Yeah.
And would you say since you've added artists, is there more like turnout? Is there more people that come?
I think so. I think we could definitely say that. I think the reason being is that each featured artist, no matter it's poetry, fiction, or art, does bring their own group of fans with them, whether it's family or friends.
Yeah.
So just to have another person bringing those people,
Yeah.
I think we've definitely had better turnouts because of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And do you have like leadership roles in Folio and your other clubs that you?
Yeah, I'm associate editor for Folio, so right now we are accepting submissions that are going to be in December. The deadline's in December. And then over winter break, we're going to review all those submissions and decide which ones are going to be in the publication for the spring. So yeah, it's exciting, and it's a lot of going through people's work and reading it and judging what should be in and what shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, that's great. It sounds like you're really involved.
Oh yeah, you
got
could
a
say
lot
that.
going on.
You could say that.
Well, thanks for meeting me.
No problem.
And I just have to ask again if I have your permission to show this in front of my class.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any feedback for me?
Great eye contact, great questions. You kept the conversation flowing. Awesome job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
Okay.